Okay, so I got that one downloading. So we'll see how this goes. Because I'm going to keep trying things. Like, if I can get this to, even if it's like, have to dedicate my whole day to trying to do it, it's still, it makes the dogs much happier, me not leaving them. Oh my God. Leaving them for a couple hours and coming back, it's like they are so. My mom said she comes down here and they're just calm, laying around and stuff. But when I get back, they go insane and they don't stop until they go to bed. It's like they go crazy. And so demanding. It's still, she gave me, but she's doing much better. And I think I already maybe had said that now I'm going at the angle of food allergies on Max. But he's such a scrounge and he runs around. So even when I'm trying to give him different food, he runs over and starts eating theirs too. He's so scroungy. So I don't know. I'm going to try, but first thing, because I give him corn. I know some people don't give, but I give my dog all these different vegetables. And Stella loves corn and beans, and she likes hot stuff. She likes pasta. She likes everything. And Max is a lot more picky. But if he has food allergies, Winston had food allergies, but Winston had horrible skin outbreaks. But it could be that it's upsetting his stomach and making him puke. So anyways, that's what my angle of direction is right now on him. He's eaten twice, and well, we'll see. I mean, he could still puke today, what he had earlier. So we'll see. But he didn't puke last night, but he didn't, it was pretty bland diet. And so anyways, today it was a little bit more stuff. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And, let me think. Was there more stuff on the dogs? Seems like that there was some more stuff on the dogs. Boy, they don't like this. They don't like the snow or the rain, especially Archie. He doesn't like to get his feet wet. He is such a little priss, but he's also a little devil, man. He is such a little hellion. But he's the sweetest thing, and he is, like, he really wants a mama. He is very, you know, I'm sure they're both on my bed right now. My bed being the sleeping bag. And Stella goes in there and gets on it. It's like everybody's the whole thing is to get on my bed. And then when they're not on mine and they want to get on hers. So it's always this, I don't know, it must be a dog thing or something. But she has gotten more to where she lets him do puppy pile on her. Because she used to just freak out if they'd come and get in her bed. And she'd have a big fit. But now they spend the day, all three of them, all snuggled up on this all the time. And in the tent, but everybody does that on me in there. It's like snuggle up on me. So it's like, I don't know, dogs like to be touching each other while they're sleeping in a big pile. So anyways, and the fucking, these shelters that are putting, euthanizing, like, quit calling it euthanizing. Like, that's some bullshit, man. You're doing it out of mercy. You're killing puppies out of mercy. Like, fuck off with shit. God, I'm so sick of the misleading. And people just, yeah, sometimes they have to euthanize. Okay, think it through. Think it through. When they are taking in puppies and they are murdering them, that is a crime. Like, if we did that, we would be going to jail. They get to do it because they've got a license to go through the government. And it's part of their, I swear to God, I swear to God, it has to do with the soil and grain too. There's a lot of stuff. Just like the other day, my mom went up to go have lunch with all her friends, and she got a burger, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna sit there and just keep telling people, but it's like once they hear it, not out of my mouth anymore, they hear it off of. And there's so much stuff coming out. What was that? I had just seen something, some kind of disclosure thing. I can't remember what it was now. But I was like, oh my gosh, everything is going to keep being disclosed. Everything is going to keep showing. And some of it is a play. It's like playing it out. So people have to see. And the witnessing gives you the opportunity to open your mind. And that's the big part of the awakening, because people's minds have been so closed through programming So now it is like they got open. Plus, they have used these frequency and chemicals to keep people disconnected from themselves and keep them driven by their desires and their impulses. And that's why a big part of your healing journey has to do with getting control of your impulses and your desires and stuff. But what I have learned, though, for sure, is like, so when you have your certain the ways that you act towards your kids or whatever, you can bet your ass if you are in a position that is a stream that is coming downstream. So that when you're on the receiving side of certain behaviors, then you see them differently. So you don't see them sometimes. You may fight with your kids and argue, that's not what I'm doing, you don't know what I'm saying, you don't understand me, because nobody feels understood. The ground has been vibrating for days. It's intense. Last night, a helicopter flew over. I felt it through my whole body. Like, everything is vibrating to me. It's weird. It's fucking weird, man. Everything is just like, it's like, and it's gotta feel uncomfortable to people who can't keep going, like, because it's intense, man. So but there's certain behaviors that that we all carry throughout this, that when you are the one doing it, I don't know, you have your own reasons or whatever, and that's the part you gotta look at, is your reasons. Like, why am I doing this? What am I doing that for? What am I trying to gain here? What am I trying to get from them? And then question yourself and start seeing, well, what is it I'm trying to get, and so once you can get down to there, then you can decipher, like, oh, I don't really need to get that from them, so I need to, like, back off. I need to let go of some of this stuff, and so you can improve your relationships by not trying to be so invasive, not trying to be so, a part of everything or something. But it's when you're on the receiving end is when you get the other perspective, and that is why certain things happen in your life. Like, you go around these people, then you go around these people, and sometimes people can feel like they're stuck. Like, God, I'm only around assholes all the time. But a lot of of course, there's no tissues here. A lot of the patterns that develop and so are there for you to see these different things and to experience different things, and it may be a whole bunch before you see it or whatever. Like, I went through decades of that bad relationships and stuff before I could see the part I played and why I was in bad relationships. And so once you see the part you play, then you can maneuver a different part. You can be like, well, I'm not playing this part anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna, play these games. And then once you start cleaning up, what you will and will not allow or do, then you start changing your relationships, because you're not going to play the same games, and that, people are stuck in these patterns, these games, and it is this autopilot kind of society that has been created because people are only responding to their own wounds, and they don't have any idea of it. But that's why this whole thing is so much about getting perspective on yourself, getting control of your impulses, like I said, and your desires, what it is you want and what are you willing to do to get it. And because so many people are super manipulative and controlling and don't really know it, because it's not coming from a bad place in their heart. And so they have good intentions. They want to help. They want to be loving. They want to show they're there for them and stuff like that. But don't forget also that the things that you're trying to heal are the things that are wrong with you, and you're trying to heal them in somebody else. So the more that you can turn your perspective on self and see your wounds so that you can work on your wounds and stop trying to heal them through other people, then you can start to change your patterns. And so you start to develop better relationships. And don't forget sometimes when relationships are in redevelopment stages, that they have certain things that got to break free. Certain parts have to break free, but that doesn't mean they won't mend, that you won't be able to put them back together. When you put them back together, you can put them back together in a healthier way, rather than, the toxic way that has just developed out of our own unknowing about how to do better, or what the problem was really. Like, is a big part of life is like so many people go around and they don't really know what the problem is. They don't really know, like, well, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working for me? And it just stands out to me so much on the bad relationship thing, how it has so much to do with us trying to fill our own needs and it draining the other person. And we do this back and forth to each other. And so the other person's always disappointed. The other person's always met like, it's set up to, it's set up to fail, because we're not supposed to stay there. We're supposed to learn there. We're supposed to learn and we're supposed to grow. And for me, it was several different relationships and a long time. And then once I could see my own part, that is also when I could no longer be the victim. I was no longer, I was in abusive relationships. I was with alcoholics. Poor me. All stuck on that. Give me some antidepressants or something. Is life so hard? It's so hard. And so, it's different when you start being like, oh, I was doing that because my own neediness, or my own unwilling to take care of my own needs, or my own inability to have better boundaries. That was such a big part of my thing, not being able to stand up for myself. And even if it comes from your parents always, being hard on you or whatever it is, even if it comes from that, that's the way it's supposed to happen, so that you could come into this life and heal those things. So the people that give you the things that you think are your, the bad things, are really the gifts that they're bringing you, so that you can see these sides of yourself. It's supposed to propel or bring up these sides of you. So it's all part of the plan. And it's just so crazy, because we get in here and we get so angry at each other when we are doing the things that we're supposed to do. And we get angry and hurt, but that is all a part of this misrepresentation of this reality, or this realm, or whatever. And and it's just so weird how these certain things play out. Like the 1961, this crash happened in Belgium, but it was a glitch in the thing which caused the crash that killed all these ice skaters. And then here we are again playing this stuff out. There's so many things that just go, it's trippy. Like, it trips me out even on the North Carolina, and how it keeps being like there's certain things with these different tribe names, because that is a big part of America and the colonization and stuff. Like, they came into lands that were already taken by all sorts of tribes that were all living peacefully in all different areas. And a lot of them had migrated from different places and developed their own, townships or whatever. And then the crown and the church made way with their soldiers to come in and rock up this world and take it over. And yeah, that's trippy. Because think about this, how the different realities, because during that same time where there was tribes out there living, taking their tents down and like nomadic, and going where the weather and stuff, like following the weather patterns, living in harmony with the earth. At the same time as that, you have over there the World State Fair. Because when was this whole thing? When was like the gold rush of California? I have to look that up. But because the gold rush is when all those people from the East Coast started going. But you think about like the East Coast all being all like, but but if we go with the concept of this Tartarian or this Roman Empire or whatever the hell these buildings, who the people were who lived there, if they were the giants or whoever, that had to be existing at the same time as these tribes. So see, that's what I'm talking about. Even these different realms of realities and stuff. But then there's these areas of merging, and so, but it's meant to merge. It's meant to have these experiences play out. And so, yeah, it's trippy because there's a lot. It's just, it's trippy. Just like when you think about that, like how America is and how China is. And then Iraq, like some of these places. And then that's also weird is in a place that would be really, more technology or whatever, the women have to all cover their faces and stuff. Some of these are, like, I don't know all these different religions and different, all this stuff, but some of these groups are like colonizers from other planets, other places. The planets are out though, that's land masses and realities and realms and stuff. So some of them are from other ones, and then they colonized and came here and stuff. And some of their profit or some of their stuff has been distorted, and so maybe it's like some of these people, maybe some of them are going home to learn or to understand more. Maybe that's why there's gonna be big groups that go to back home or something to learn more about their own truth and their own history out of the distortion that they've been fed or something. I don't know. Because that's very much oppressing another being to tell them what they have to cover and show and stuff like that. It's up to you. Like, you're the one who has to represent yourself. You're the one who has to come into understanding and terms with yourself. And, one thing too, so while our Congress and stuff is being exposed for all their criminal stuff, and there is a lot of, that's what, the Catholic Charities thing. So I think that's going to really help to have some religious people start seeing, like, maybe that's going to help them wake up when they start seeing how involved the church is with some of these crimes and stuff. And it's got to go in kind of slow, like, they're just trying to so now the government is supposedly in a thing with the this Catholic Charities thing. So, but remember, this is all about exposing the stuff so that people can see. And so all of this different things that they're doing it's all like this big show, is to get people to see. But like my mom said, there's a lot of people who need to be seeing some of this stuff and they aren't watching. But still, that's their regret. That's like, it has to be there so that they can wake up and be like, oh, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't watching it. I wasn't paying attention. I was listening to sound bites. And CNN, I guess, apparently was reported about the crash hours before it happened, where people are trying to make excuses or something, and people were having conversations about it before it happened or something. That was all on X. And then also Alice said on X, there's a whole thing being exposed about the UK and the Parliament and stuff, and how they're all involved in the pedo business. And Alice was finding ties to her own family through these people being exposed. She was seeing like, oh, that's my dad's friend, and she started putting a lot of pieces together in her own life. And one thing, like, I don't know if you know this, Alice, or she knows this, is I talked about it years ago. And so back years ago, there was a frenzy on Cappy, say. And so everybody was freaking out, and, if he was killed or whatever. And so there's a couple of people that started coming up on YouTube talking about him, and that there was, what's that called? A dead man trap or something. Where if anything happens to me, this all goes out to everybody or something. So he had something like that. And so there was somebody saying that they had that. And then there was people who are, both these guys were both saying that they had this attachment to him and they knew all this information. Then they started kind of arguing on YouTube and stuff. Like this big thing started happening for the people who were following all this, because these two guys started pointing fingers at each other, and it was real weird. But the one guy, which, so I don't know who was legit and who wasn't legit or whatever, but the one guy and both of them were talking about they were occult experts. I'm positive they both claimed to be occult experts. And but one of the guys, he started, I don't remember if he said he was reading out of the dead man lock or whatever, but, or if he knew about that, I don't know. I don't remember, because this was years ago. But I remember the ceremony he talked about, and he said it was the worst thing, that it is the most horrible thing, and he had all these details on this one, that so there's a master of affairs or whatever, you know, the guy who wears the black hood or whatever, and then the rest all wear red or something. And I don't know, maybe some of them wear white and red, I don't know, maybe some wear matte, I don't know. They all have their own little ceremony thing going. But the leader, the dictator of the thing. So that guy, he talked about this ceremony where the guy leading it was Johnny Depp. So this was very disturbing. And it seems like it was right before the Amber thing, or maybe it was right when it was very first starting or something, the court case. It was a few years ago. So, but it seems like he was in the news a lot at the time while this was being said. So he said he was the master of ceremony at this one. But what these are called, so they have certain time periods that they do them. And they have, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's just on the full moon. You'd have to go and listen to these guys, because it seems like some of them do like 4 in a month or something. But whatever, they have these certain ceremonies, and all these different groups are all connected. And so they do these things all at the same time. And so, you know, all these groups in all these different cities and towns, in all these different areas, all doing this same ceremony the same night at the same time. And it is the Alice something, it's like Alice, something about Alice. I don't remember the whole thing. It's like representative, or Alice in Wonderland is representative of this thing or something. And so but it has something to do with that this ceremony, and it's really horrible. They have a young girl up there. She has to wear white and stuff. It's this whole thing. They all brutally rape her and then devour her. You know, so, and it's real gross and bloody and gruesome and stuff. And he was telling all this stuff about it. And so, anyways, she was saying that she was figuring out that there was something weird about her name and this stuff. But yeah, there's a whole ceremony where they do in the that every year. It's I think it's a yearly one. But anyways, you'd have to go and find, I don't even know if you can even find these guys anymore. It was back when there was a whole bunch of stuff on YouTube and people were live all the time. It was like during 2020 and 2021, there was so much going on YouTube. And so anyways, if you can find them, find the videos and stuff, the link, I think, would be to try and find the ones where the guys were talking about Cappy. And it was weird because the two guys kind of looked alike. And one of them had a girlfriend, and she would come and be in it a lot too. And the other guy was just a guy, and he would sit like, I don't know, it was kind of like in an office or something. And he would get really irritated. He was calling this guy out, saying you're a liar and all this stuff. So I don't know. It seemed like he was the one who really went after the other one at first. So I don't know. Is it, you know, then it comes out there's these people who do this kind of stuff to try and get attention online and stuff. So it's hard to say, you know, everything is, it's hard to say what's real and what's not real because there's so much bullshit. So anyways, I'm going to stop here and I'll be back in a minute.